three men suspected of taking part in the Moses Mabhida Stadium soccer violence have each received a R1,000 bail, appearing in court today facing public violence charges after Kaizer Chiefs fans stormed the pitch after losing a Nedbank Cup match. ENCA's Desan Tatia is at the Durban Magistrates Court. So bail granted, and by all appearances just a stock standard, very quick appearance.
That's right, Jeremy. Quite a brief appearance for those three men. Sipho Senkosi Memela, Spongaseni Kumalo, and Kwezilomo Madiba. So these arrests came this week after that police task team that was assembled started doing their work. Look, they did have footage to work with because all of that was recorded. You'll remember those scenes, some of those which had people in shock all over social media, people reacting to that. Some of those pictures which had most broadcasters cringing, the destruction of those very, very expensive television cameras, and also, as you remember, the assault on that security guard. So these men, the state believe, are linked directly to those attacks that we saw. Two of those men were arrested, but one of them handed themselves over. And in fact, that investigation led police all the way to the Eastern Cape, where one of those men was arrested. But the magistrate in court saying to these men that, they should reflect on their actions because it's had so many repercussions. Many people are now worried about going to soccer matches, worrying about safety. And as I mentioned, those videos did go viral as well. It seems at this point that all three of them intend to plead guilty to the charges they're facing. That's public violence, it's failure to comply, as well as pitch invasion. But one of the lawyers, Memela's lawyer, in fact, spoke to us after court, and he says that they're still trying to iron out the finer details because they still need to sift through that footage and negotiate with the state and establish exactly who was responsible for what.
Desan, it's clearly obvious that more than three people were involved in this particularly unseemly incident, but police in KZN also saying today, I think, that one of the things hampering the investigation is a lack of witnesses coming forward.
And that's the difficulty that they seem to face quite often. So there are two problems here. The one is that they've been trying to get statements from those people that were injured on the night. But the problem there is that many of those that were treated, mostly for minor injuries, were treated and then left. So they weren't able to track them down, or they're still trying to track them down. And then the other is the appeal that they put out, which doesn't seem to be getting them very far just yet. They're hoping that changes, is to the other fans that were in the stadium on the night. I mean, as far as I understand it, there were close to about 30,000 people in that stadium that night, which means lots of eyes, lots of people seeing what's going on. And that's now what they're asking for. They're asking anyone who has seen what happened to come forward so that they can now make more arrests, more than just what we've seen on that footage and what they've been looking at as well. And
just very quickly, what about the stadium itself? A fair amount of damage, as you said. Is that under repair at the moment?
That's right. Well, as far as we understand it, and just based on the press briefing, the press conference that was held, I think it was last week, by the mayor, we found out that there was over 2 million rand in damage. But the one thing that they did mention at that time was that they were working to correct that, and the stadium was still functioning. So that's definitely some good news. But at this point, we'll still have to get an update to see how exactly that's going, and to see if there'll be more security at upcoming matches.